this is meteorologist Mark Muller. I want to thank you for joining me for this edition of Weather Northeastern. We have a lot to talk about. We have a series of waves of low pressure that will move along a stationary front across the mid and deep south up through portions of the Appalachians, the mid-Atlantic, and that will occur mainly Wednesday, Thursday, and early Friday. And then we could see a Valentine's Day coastal storm develop for this weekend. So we're going to get right into it here and then later on next week, more stormy coastal systems possible. So let's get right into the particulars on these storms. Also, before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to me. It's very important. If you've been watching my videos but you haven't subscribed, what is stopping you? Just go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Also, if it's on social media, just if you want to share it as well. Get the word out here at MeteoMark's Weather Northeastern. I appreciate all of your support these last couple weeks as we continue to grow the channel. Taking a look at the winter storm. This is the first winter storm in a series of winter storms over the next week or two here. We're taking the first one. This one is going to primarily be a major ice storm, portions of northeastern Arkansas over towards Kentucky area. So just northeast of Little Rock up to Louisville, Kentucky, parts of Charleston, West Virginia, and then we get into northern West Virginia, parts of Maryland, northern Virginia. This is where we get into the 6 to 12-inch snowfall amounts. Models are not handling this system very well because there's not a one well-defined low-pressure system, but there is a stationary front, and there will be a series of troughs and waves riding along this stationary front. So the moisture will be there. We're pretty confident in a widespread 6 to 12 inches of snow, northern Virginia, western Maryland, up to Somerset County, Pennsylvania. Portions of the areas around Washington, D.C., Baltimore, pretty confident now we'll see a 4 to 8 inch range of snow out of this over towards Delmarva, up to Harrisburg, probably 2 to 5 inches on the range. And southern New Jersey, it's going to be really close. We're not sure how quickly or how far northeast the system's going to make because it will begin to weaken as it heads to the northeast on Friday. But as you see towards Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, Williamsport, Pennsylvania State College, the amounts drop off pretty quick to the north here as the system does not get that northern extent. So let's get right into the potential Valentine's Day storm setup here. Let's take a look at the model runs for the Valentine's Day storm. Of course, this is the weekend, mostly on Sunday. Take a look at this across parts of Alabama, Georgia, and the Western Carolinas. The GFS really hones in here on the initial first low developing later Saturday afternoon into the evening, and then redevelops it off the North Carolina coast, hugging the coast at least through about early afternoon Sunday before kind of hooking it to the east and then out to sea. That was a solution that will be interesting here. There are other factors in play further to the west, which I'll show you on the next map here. But taking a look at the Canadian is very interesting here. Take a look at this, and the orange kind of hugs the coastline Sunday morning into Sunday afternoon, kind of hooks it towards New Jersey, and then pushes it into New England and southeastern New England here. Long Island and New England. So that is very interesting track. This would produce a lot more heavier snows further inland here. And then, of course, the Euro, which would result in heavier snows towards the coastline. This one is the furthest east one. It's not too far away from the GFS, though. If you look, the model spread is a lot tighter than it has been over the last 24 to 36 hours. So let's take you to the next frame here. This is the current thinking that I'm thinking based on these model runs and the trends that we have seen. Taking a look at the trouble areas for this Valentine's Day storm, once again, it's too far out to release an official exact snowfall map of ranges. However, at this point, I think the models are becoming a much tighter spread here. There's still a lot of uncertainty, and a lot could change. However, I think we're pretty much coming into a solution, a rough solution here of low pressure coming out of the southeast here, redeveloping off the coastline, becoming more primary coastal. Now, if you look, it is a fast-moving system, so this will limit snowfall accumulations. Most of these systems have been pretty fast-moving over the last week. However, if you look at the trough that's going to be hanging back here across the lower Great Lakes and into portions of Pennsylvania and upstate New York and New Jersey here, this could also focus some snowfall. We do not want to discount this because most of the models are coming into this solution where a trough of low pressure hangs back behind the main coastal low and helps to focus some of that energy in the form of snowfall here. So there could be some heavier banding of snowfall that occurs on the back side. Definitely at this point, it's really tough to get into snowfall accumulations. At this point, I'm not putting anybody in the major category or extreme. I have moderate to high here as the highest. In the red, you probably stand the best chance of seeing 6 or more inches of snowfall out of this. Now, this is subject to change, but at this point, I think it's becoming safer to say that we will see significant snowfall here, especially in parts of the Mid-Atlantic, Northeast, and New England. Taking a look at the snowfall map here across my immediate forecast area for the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, and parts of New England. Take a look at that. This takes us through later Wednesday, primarily Thursday night. We have snowfall that develops across southern Pennsylvania during the day on mainly Thursday, especially down towards Somerset County, Pennsylvania, on south and eastward. This is where we'll see the potential for 6 to 10, maybe as high as a foot of snow. Parts of Harrisburg, we're looking at about 2 to 5 inches over towards Philadelphia and to parts of southern New Jersey. And it's mainly south of Interstate 80 that we see the best chance at 2 to 4 inches. North of that line, you take a look at parts of Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, and on northward, very little chance of getting more than an inch out of this system. And then, of course, up towards just north of Syracuse, that's where we get the lake effect streamer coming into Oswego County, northern Cuyahoga County, with upwards of 5 to 9 inches likely out of that band. So let's get right into some viewers sent in photos and videos. Taking a look at the ice map, I think ice won't be as much of a factor out of this upcoming storm. This takes us through Thursday and Friday, maybe up to less than 1/10 of an inch across portions of Somerset County into West Virginia, parts of Maryland, and southeastern parts of New Jersey. But for the most part, ice is not going to be a major factor. Taking a look at viewers send in photos and videos. Take a look at Derek Rentschler from Lebanon County, Pennsylvania. February 1st, 8 inches of snow. February 2nd, 12 inches of snow. And finishing it off on February 2nd with a snowman. Very nice photos, Derek. Looks like more snow is in your forecast. John from Islip, New York. Take a look at this. He had snowfall from February 1st to February 7th, totaling a total of 28 inches. So very nice capture, John. May also see some snowfall. Let's take a look for your Valentine's Day storm. Taking a look at precipitation totals across much of North America. Take a look out west there. We'll draw our eyes to that pretty quickly here in Oregon. All the way down to the valley floors, even Portland, Oregon, under winter storm watches for later on in the week. That's a pretty big, intense storm, bringing snowfall all the way down to the valley floors. You look back east here, and you have that big snow and ice storm stretching from parts of the deep south, Arkansas, up through portions of Kentucky, and into the Appalachians, where we'll get more heavy snow into northern part of Virginia and West Virginia. Taking a look at the upper air pattern here, you see the southern branch of the jet stream riding very low to the south here and running very close to the polar jet stream, the northern branch. You can see blocking continues up here into parts of northeastern North America into Greenland. This is where we'll continue to see the possibility of blocking. We won't see as much this week, especially since a lot of the systems there will be some phasing going on. However, they'll be very quick moving in a very quick moving flow as you see both jet streams very close together. But the big story will be the cold air over North America, as all the telekinetics are supporting an extremely cold, bitter cold apparent temperatures as well as wind chills. Look at that in the northern plains there. That's where the most of the tremendous cold will be. And if you see that shifts all the way to the south into the southern plains, parts of the Appalachians, and into most of the Northeast as well. This will set the stage for any system. We will have plenty of systems and plenty of moisture to work with. It's just pinning down the exact details and the exact snowfall amounts and ice totals to have a lot of winter storms here. We have plenty of cold air locked in place. Taking a look at Wednesday across the Northeast here, this is where we have a little bit of increasing clouds to the south. We have that lake effect streamers off of eastern Lake Ontario here in Oswego County, northern Cayuga County. It will shift southward and weaken towards Onondaga County and Madison County and Oneida County. Across much of Pennsylvania, a lot of this light snow and snow showers will break out later in the day, but accumulations will be much less than an inch. Thursday across the Northeast, we have increasing moisture to the south, especially Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, Somerset County, Pennsylvania, seeing the heaviest snow. These areas could top 4, 5, 6, maybe upwards of 10 inches, especially across parts of south, central, western Pennsylvania there, where we stand the chance of seeing the heaviest snowfall out of the system. Much lighter amounts further north and east. Harrisburg, I think you'll see about 2 to 5 inches out of this later Thursday night. As Thursday night wears on, we'll approach Scranton, Binghamton towards the evening, maybe as far north as New York City. Amounts from Scranton northward, northeastward, State College, northward will be mostly on the light side with maybe 1 to perhaps as much as 2 inches, but the main focus of the energy of these low pressure waves will be to the south of the Mason-Dixon line, so that will keep most of the heavier snow into southern Pennsylvania, into Maryland. Friday across the Northeast, this trough of low pressure really starts to set up, and this is going to be the key heading into the Valentine's Day storm. I think one of the keys to this system, this coastal storm coming up, is this trough that pretty much camps out across the lower Great Lakes, parts of Pennsylvania, upstate New York. So we'll have to watch this. Right now on Friday, that low pressure, those series of lows, those troughs that move to the northeast, this is what's left over of the storm across Virginia, West Virginia, and Kentucky. It pretty much washes out here across the northeast in the form of snow showers, less than an inch pretty much everywhere. Saturday across the northeast, we have another snow showery day, pretty much less than an inch. You see that trough in the form of kind of like a stationary front almost here across the northeast, setting up as a trough of low pressure. And this will start to become the key later Saturday into Sunday as we have that coastal system develop to the southeast, and that could become the focal point here of increased banding of the snowfall here across parts of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and upstate New York. So pretty much we'll look for that going through the weekend here. There's a lot of uncertainty, but let's take a look at my extended outlook for my hometown viewers. Taking a look at my extended outlook here, Binghamton to Scranton, upper Susquehanna region of upstate New York, northeast Pennsylvania. Look at this. Wednesday is pretty much the only day we'll see breaks of sun. We head into Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That's where we see that trough of low pressure kick in. Less than an inch every day. Nevertheless, it's going to be very cold. Heading south here on the temperatures. But look at that. By Sunday, that's when I expect the effects from the coastal low to really start to take effect with the trough of low pressure that pretty much stalls across the lower Great Lakes into parts of the Northeast. That's where we could see upwards of, it's hard to pinpoint snowfall this early, but I'm looking at about 4 to 8 inches of snow potentially across the Binghamton, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton area. I'm looking at a big area of 4 to 8 inches. Could change depending on the exact track and how fast the system is moving, but at this point I think we're looking at least high-end advisory, low-end warning criteria. So watch for that on Sunday. I'll have complete updates continuing here at MeteoMark's Weather Northeastern. As always, I want to thank you for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather Northeastern. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Also, don't forget, if you'd like to share it on social media with all your friends, family, whatever, go ahead and do that. Get the word out. I want to thank you for helping me grow this channel and support me here at MeteoMark's Weather Northeastern. It's Weather Northeastern on Facebook, WX Northeastern Twitter, MeteoMark also on Facebook. We also have Hurricane Northeastern, MeteoMark.com, and WeatherNortheastern.com.